Hello everybody and welcome back to Soul Stained Ink. My name is Beth and today I'm going to be doing for you the authortube newbie tag. Okay, so technically pretty much everybody on authortube right now is a newbie. Apparently it kind of started up a couple of months ago, but really it's been in the last few weeks that I've noticed it taking off or noticed it at all, really. I've seen a couple of videos that are authortube centric, I suppose, and they're just basically a couple of these tags, which was created by JennaDarkONe, and I will link her down below. And then people just kind of mentioning authortube in their videos. But I think it is a fabulous thing. Of course, we're this little small community focused on books, and what better way to bring the writers of those books together than take those of us who are both readers and writers and make us be an author tube. I don't know. I like it. It works for me. So I'm going to go ahead and do this tag for you now and stop babbling. But the first question is, how did you hear about AuthorTube? And like I said, I've just seen a couple of people I follow talk about it, do this tag. So it's just been kind of floating around my feed for the last couple of weeks, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Question number 2 is, what genres do you write in? So yeah, I typically write in sort of a fantastical genre. There's usually some sort of magic or other stuff going on in what I write, but I write across several different age levels. So I do write children's, which are mostly adventure or like animal books and not fantasy. But then my middle grade, young adult, and new adult / adult books that I'm working on right now are all fantasy. I do have a contemporary that I wrote back in the day that I am hoping to rework, I suppose would be the best way to put it. I rewrote it about 18 times, but I'm hoping to go back and kind of expand it from a novella into a novel, and that's an adult contemporary. But typically I do fantasy. So question number 3 is, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story, which would be children's, YA, new adult, adult, etc. I just answered that part in the last question because I get ahead of myself. I typically write in third person, although first person is something I have tried to incorporate more into short stories. I find reading and writing in first person a little hazy, and second person does that to me as well. So third person is my preferred method. And writing tense, probably present. I don't know. I don't know. I go back and forth. Are you a plotter? Number 4. Are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? I'm mostly a pantser. So yeah, moving on. I'm just mostly a pantser. Number 5. Are you a self-published, published, or yet to be published author? I categorize myself as both a self-published and a yet to be published, although technically I'm all three. I've had stories published in like newspapers and some online journals. I have stories that I'm hoping to find an agent for, a publisher for, and then I've also self-published several things that are currently available on Amazon, Kindle, through CreateSpace, that kind of thing. And you can actually go down in the little box down there, and I typically have my Amazon authors page listed. Number 6, what publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or do you use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? I use CreateSpace for the stuff I've self-published. My dream publishing house, I would love like Houghton Mifflin, because I have a series of books that are kind of educational. I'd like for them to put them in some of the educational bundles. I also would love like Penguin, Harcourt, I don't know, just any of the big ones that I read all the time. Scholastic, definitely. I would love to have Scholastic with my books. I don't know about my dream literary agent, but I am looking into a couple. So yeah, if you've read any of my stuff and you know of one you think might like it, Help a sister out. Okay. Number 7. What AuthorTube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Basically the same kind of authory stuff I do now, except hopefully a little bit more often. I'm really hoping to do some more videos where I talk about my characters, what I've been writing, and maybe if I do more videos, I'll get more writing done, hopefully. Number 8, when did you start writing? I don't know when I haven't been a writer. I know that I have been telling stories my entire life, but the first time I remember really writing stories out was probably in 3rd grade. I had a fabulous English teacher in 3rd and 4th grade. She was amazing. She went up with us, and she really focused my attention on writing. I knew I wanted to be an author like from that time on. I was always writing, always had a notebook with me somewhere. Number 9, what was the first story you ever wrote? God bless America and everybody else. I have no earthly idea what the first story I wrote was. I could not tell you. Not a clue. All right, so number 10. Am I on 10? Yes, 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? That depends, because I have a group of friends that like to just kind of mess around and write. And we used to be on writing.com together, and we really inspired each other. And so, like, Kat and Ters and Jen, they were all amazing and really inspired me. And then my dad is an author, and he's really inspired me as well. Or if we're talking about authors that we read that inspire us, then, there's a whole nother case. Rachel Kane and Tim Tingle, who both of them I actually know to an extent, have had long conversations with. They've read some of my stuff, and they really help. And then there's, of course, Nora Roberts and Kelly Armstrong and Chris Gravenstein, who I've also had long conversations with. These great authors who are just so sweet and nice and will talk to you and, give you advice. Neil Gaiman, I just love his style. Number 11, do you schedule writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? Every time I try to schedule a writing session, something happens. I will sit down with my pen and the kid will wake up. Or I'll sit down and be 3 sentences into it and my mom will call. Or I feel like a seal. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Even when I say I am writing from 6 to 7, then my mom will call me at 6 and say, "Oh, I thought you said you were going to start writing at 7." Or I thought you said you'd be done writing at 6. So, things happen every time, and I just really try to get it in whenever I can. My favorite thing that happened this past weekend, actually, or one of my favorite things that happened this past week for Thanksgiving break, was that I got some writing time in, and I was not planning on writing at all. But I don't typically like to write around people because I feel like I'm being rude. I pull my stuff out and I'm writing. I'm typically like in the corner, my kid's asleep. I'm sitting over by myself, ignoring everybody in the room trying to write. And I feel bad because I feel like I should be carrying on a conversation. But this week I was able to curl up and I'd be writing, and my friend would be like, "Hey, look what I did." And I'd look over to see whatever it was he had going on his game. And then I'd go back to writing and he'd go back to playing the game. Or he'd be like, "Hey, what you writing?" And I'd tell him about it a little bit. And he'd be like, "Oh, that's cool. What if this happened?" And just kind of nudge me further on. And that doesn't happen very often at all in my life. So that was really the best way to kind of grab my writing whenever I could this past week. And I got a lot more done than I thought I was going to. And I just rambled a lot more than I thought I was going to as well. Number 12, do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything by hand, or use a blend? Where do you write in general? Generally, I write wherever I can. I like to sit in my big chair or at the table or in bed or at school or wherever. But I do write everything out by hand first, and then I transcribe it onto the computer. So I have my hard copy first draft, and then as I'm typing it up, I start making edits, and that becomes kind of my second draft while I'm still in the process of writing the first draft, if that makes sense. So I use that weird blend. And then 13, What are you most looking forward to now that you're part of authortube? I am most looking forward to making more friends that are authortubians. I'm looking forward to having more author friends in my life. I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's advice and hearing about what everybody else is doing, and hopefully getting some inspiration and providing some inspiration in the process. So that's all I've got. Those are all 13 questions. I'm not going to tag anybody unless, if you want to do it, that would be great. Emily Lubke at Julian Greystroke. If you want to do that, that would be great. I'd love to see your answers if you haven't done it and I missed it this week. I don't know. Other than that, I'm done. So until next time, read something good, write something better. I'll see you again soon.